Death by 1,000 cuts, two-edged razor blades. When we pray, laser rays, get your faces grazed. When we read, you slice that speeds, but never bleed. Just to make you change, 1611.
Shalom, Most High Christ bless. This Officer Sampson here at IUIC Detroit, and we down here, downtown Detroit. I'm here with the soldiers. We about to get it in. We're going to ask the people how much they really know about Valentine's Day. A lot of people, they run around, they celebrate Valentine's Day, but I do not believe they know about the origins and where these things come from. So, men of God, are you ready?
Always ready.
All right, let's get it. Let's go. All right, all praises. Officer Sampson here. We downtown Detroit, close to the Rosa Parks Transit Center, and I'm here with
Gully GQ.
Gully GQ. So we're going to ask the brother Gully GQ a couple questions. So my first question would be is, do you celebrate Valentine's Day?
Yeah. I mean, you can say that.
So you do celebrate Valentine's? So you got a Valentine's this year?
No.
Not this year?
I don't know.
You-
My work is my Valentine's, honestly.
Your work is your Valentine.
I am Soldier Delaya here with another episode of Cutz from the Street, IUIC Detroit. And today we're going to be asking questions about Valentine's Day. Today I have with me, what's your name?
Lena Bird.
This is Lena Bird, and today we're going to ask her a few questions about Valentine's Day. Let me ask you a question, sis. Do you celebrate Valentine's Day?
Well, I wasn't raised to celebrate, but every day it's a day, for the blood to shed the heart. It's the heart-to-heart situation.
So do you celebrate it, yes or no?
I'm not celebrating, but I feel the energy.
You feel the energy, but you don't celebrate.
Did you celebrate Valentine's Day?
Yes, I do.
Brother Tay, have you ever celebrated Valentine's Day?
No,
So you ain't never tried to get none on Valentine's Day?
no,
You ain't never bought a girl some balloons, no flowers, nothing?
none of that shit.
Nothing from since you was a little kid?
Do you celebrate Valentine's Day?
Every day is like Valentine's Day for us,
No,
but
not really. Not like. No, not really.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Have you celebrated it before?
yes.
What do you know about Valentine's Day? Do you celebrate it? Let me ask you that. Do you celebrate?
Honestly, I do, but my new mate does not. So
What about you? Do you celebrate it?
no, I'm too single for that.
You too single for that?
Do you celebrate Valentine's Day?
I do.
Okay, what about you?
Yes.
Do you know who Saint Valentine is?
No, but I do know somewhat of the story. I know that I believe he was like Cupid was like something dark, set in like paganist, like some aspect of that. So
Okay. So you said Cupid was somewhat dark, but you don't really know the origin about Valentine's Day, but you know somewhat the origin of Cupid.
I've heard. I mean, somewhat. A lot of the things that some of the things that we celebrate nowadays have paganistic origin.
So do you know the history of Valentine's Day at all?
At the end of the day, they talk about Cupid.
It was a new thing I've been seeing online where they've been doing like little trends and stuff, and people been doing stuff they don't know where it came from. Do you think that's cool or no?
Yeah, I think it's cool. Let me tell you why. Why? Because you're going to create your own history.
You could create your whole history, right? Okay. So who is Saint Valentine's Day?
The man upstairs.
The man upstairs? So God is Saint Valentine's Day?
Well, actually, it's the devil. That's who they representing. But they saying it's from God, but it's not God.
Do you know the history of Valentine's Day?
Say it again.
No.
I'm gonna say not. No.
Okay. Look, we got an honest couple here. They said no. Do you know the history or the origins of Valentine's Day? Yes or no?
No,
What about you?
I do not.
So you're blindly celebrating something you have no history or no background on, correct?
I guess.
Who is Saint Valentine?
That's a really good one, and I do not have the answer for that.
What about you?
I have no idea.
Would you say Valentine's Day is more about marriage or sex?
Aren't both one and the same?
No.
Because if
Explain to me why you so.
it isn't Maybe I just woke up last night, was born just last night. But isn't sex supposed to be sacred to marriage?
I agree, sex is sacred to marriage, but you can have sex outside of marriage. Right. So that's my point. That's my point. You can still have sex without marriage. So that's why I'm making a separation between the two. So I'm like, which one is it more about, the sex or the marriage?
In my opinion, is Valentine's Day more about sex or marriage? It's really not about either. It's just about love.
So is Valentine's Day a day of love, more so, or sex?
It's called art.
It's called art. So is it about love or sex more so?
It's more so about art.
Art.
Is Valentine's Day about marriage or sex?
Nowadays, it's about sex, bro.
Modern Valentine's in this new era, do you think it's more about love or sex?
That's a really good question. Well, first of all, it's commercialized. That's part one. But I would say on the mass, and maybe I could be wrong, but I think it's more about, let me just say it's intimacy. It should be, but a lot of times people are celebrating it and masking it because of lust and the sexual intent. And if the night does not end with sex, then the night is over. And I'm not saying for me personally, but I'm just saying that that's how a lot of people feel, and that's why I'm single right now.
Okay. I got a strong guess on what you gonna say. What you got?
As far as what?
Is Valentine's about sex or marriage? Or love. That's what else. You're right. Sex or love.
It can go either way.
What?
It can go either way.
It can go either way.
Okay. So I want to show you something about the actual Saint Valentine's Day, right? Because you said it's not about marriage, it's about love, right? Because we found out the origins of Valentine's, it was really about marriage. I'm gonna show you something. Go back. Let me see that the first one. All praise. That's why we out here, you know what I'm saying, to give our people more knowledge and to build with each other. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna read this on Saint Valentine's Day. We're gonna start at the top here.
Valentine's Day. Saint Valentine takes us back to the 3rd century around 269 AD.
So that's a long time ago, right?
He was a Roman priest or bishop who performed weddings so that men could avoid being drafted into the Roman military.
He did what?
Performed weddings so that men could avoid being drafted into the Roman military.
So it was a Roman emperor. His name is Claudius. Caesar. You heard that name before, I'm pretty sure. So he didn't want people to get married because he said he thought that marriage made weak soldiers. So he made it forbidden in Rome for people to get married, right? So this guy, Valentine's, he was like, that's whack. You know what I'm saying? People should be able to get married, right? And listen to what happened. Read down where it say Claudius. When Claudius
II discovered Valentine's activities, Valentine was imprisoned and put to death by beheading.
So when he found out this guy was still marrying dudes, you know, or marrying couples, right? He put him in jail. He cut his head off, right? Read on.
On February 14th, 2070 AD, 270 AD, excuse me. Right. This day was kept as tradition to honor sexual unions.
To do what?
Honor sexual unions.
To do what?
Honor sexual unions.
So, the actual man, Valentine's, he initially started it because he wanted to make sure people could still get married. But after he died, it was created for sexual unions.
The Roman pagan god Cupid, called Eros/erotic in Greek mythology, a smiling, mischievous child armed with his bow and arrow.
Now, you said that about Cupid earlier, right? So this is the part that you were referring to. Read on.
To pierce lovers' hearts with romantic love was joined with Saint Valentine for the purpose of bringing pagan worshipers.
What?
Pagan worshipers.
What is it?
Pagan worshipers to the Christian Catholic Church.
So it was pagan. This is a pagan holiday that we are now celebrating, correct?
Who is Cupid?
Cupid doesn't lie. That guy.
Oh, you can hold a little note there, I see. Okay. Who? So you in the choir?
Yes.
Okay. So do they celebrate Valentine's in the church?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So who is Cupid?
So, like she said, it's the little fat guy with the diaper on, with the bow and arrow.
So now I want to show y'all something about Valentine's Day, right? I want to show y'all something, and I want what I'm gonna show y'all. It might blow y'all mind, it might not. You know, but after I show y'all this, I'm gonna ask y'all one more question. All right, come forth with the knowledge. Now we gonna read. We gonna start with Cupid. Now we're gonna start with Saint Valentine's Day. We're gonna find out who this guy is, right? Listen good. Where'd you got?
The origins of Valentine's Day. Saint Valentine takes us back to the 3rd century, around 269 A.D.
Okay, so this is long time ago. Saint Valentine.
But was his name Valentino?
Nope.
He wasn't a woman. Was he a womanizer? Please say he wasn't a womanizer.
Nope.
Okay.
He was a what?
He was a Roman priest.
He was a Roman priest. Okay, a Roman priest, right?
Or bishop who performed weddings so that men could avoid being drafted into the Roman military.
He was performing these weddings because at the time the Caesar stated that no men could get married because he thought men that was married made weak soldiers, right? So he make it all people who were married, it was illegal for them to be in the army. And it was illegal for anybody else to get married. So he went behind everybody back. Was like, I'm gonna marry these people. You feel what I'm saying? But so let's see what happened.
When the Roman Empire and legions needed soldiers to protect their ever-expanding territories beyond the Rubicon, Emperor Claudius II decreed that nobody could be engaged to be married.
So nobody can be married. Jump down to Claudius II.
When Claudius II discovered Valentine's activities, Valentine was imprisoned and put to death.
So when the Caesar found out this guy was marrying people when he told him not to marry him, he put Saint Valentine to death, right, Reed?
By beheading on February 14th, 270 A.D.
So this was the first time. This is when it happened, when he got his head cut off in February 14th, right? Now, jump down to Cupid because we're going to see what they did with his death and how they used his death and what they did. Read.
The Roman pagan god Cupid.
What?
Roman pagan god Cupid.
Now, this man was a what?
Pagan.
No, Valentine.
Oh, he was a priest.
He was a priest. So initially he was a priest, right? Right, of the church, right? So what they did what?
The Roman pagan god Cupid, a smiling, mischievous child armed with his bow and arrow, ready to pierce lovers' hearts with romantic love, was joined with Saint Valentine for the purpose of bringing pagan worshipers to the Christian Catholic Church.
So now, the Cupid was already a god that they worship, right? So they wanted to bring Christianity to paganism. So what they did was they took this man Valentine that everybody loved, and they stamped his name on this holiday that was pagan. All right? All right?
Don't they do that with most holidays and Santa Claus, mix the letters around, is Satan.
Exactly, right? But what they did was they used this holiday for what, Reed?
Cupid's arrows symbolized the male penis.
They do what?
Cupid's arrows symbolize the male penis.
Oh, a lot of times you see Cupid, he's shooting the hearts. Initially, they was penises. You feel what I'm saying? Read on.
Whereas the Valentines symbolize the female vagina.
The what?
The female vagina. Cupid's penile arrows.
His what?
Penile arrows.
Hold on, say that one more time.
Cupid's penile arrows would strike the libido of persons
Oh,
stimulated.
you gotta say that word right. It ain't libido. It's libido. It would strike the what?
Strike the libido of persons stimulating their sexual desires towards whoever was nearest. That's why he, Cupid, was termed mischievous, because he would join men with men and women with women.
So this holiday is a holiday based on fornication and homosexuality. And they stamped a man named Saint Valentine who died for marriage. You know what I'm saying? And they put his name on it so that we all would celebrate a holiday based on fornication and homosexuality.
What do you think about Valentine's Day today?
What do I think about it?
My personal thoughts.
Oh, I think it's I don't think nothing about it. I think it's definitely a marketing tool. I don't think it has anything to do with love, but I definitely think it's a day to get money. It has nothing to do with love. I think I recently just learned that it was like massacre or something like that. I don't know. I don't want to misquote that. It's a bad day.
I don't think it's for the people, for our people.
What do you mean for? Oh, what do you mean for our people? I like that. Give me something on that. Give me something on that.
I just believe that our ancestors didn't celebrate Valentine's Day.
So when did you think we started celebrating that then?
When they forced us to read a book.
When they forced us to learn their ways.
Yes.
And so who would be the there?
White people.
All praises to the Most High. So with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to enlighten you on the origins of Valentine's Day. Do you mind that? Okay, let's say that. Come on, bro. Let's get that real quick. Now, listen up closely. This is very important for our people.
Valentine's Day. Saint Valentine takes us back to the 3rd century around 269 AD. He was a Roman priest or bishop who performed weddings so that men could avoid being drafted into the Roman military.
Now, this was way long time ago when this happened during the time of the Romans, right? Who walked the earth during the time of the Romans? Do you know?
Are you meaning like Jesus?
All praises. It's up on it. Okay. Read on.
When the Roman Empire and legions needed soldiers to protect their ever-expanding territories beyond the Rubicon, Emperor Claudius II decreed that nobody could become engaged to be married.
Because he believed that if you were a married man, it would make you a weak soldier. So therefore, he didn't want his men to get married, so he would stop them from getting married, make them join the army, and then put them into the war. So that's what it's going into. Read that.
The emperor had determined that married men made poor soldiers, so he banned marriage altogether from his Roman Empire.
You see that?
But priest Valentine defied the emperor's demand and married off many couples in castle basements and wine cellars.
So he was taking them in secret, and he was marrying them off anyway, and these men were getting married so they wouldn't have to go to the war. You get it? So read on.
Valentine's actions was considered to be an act of outright treason against the Imperio Romano and defiance of law. But Valentine continued to marry couples secretly who came to him anyway.
So that's where the origins of it come from. So let's get to the part about how first he was killed. They beheaded him, okay, because he was doing an act of treason. So now let's get to the point of how they switched it up on us and then forced it on our people and how they switched it up.
He was killed on February 14th. That's why.
On February 14th. That's why it's on February 14th. Okay, so read on.
The Roman pagan god Cupid, called Eros or erotic in Greek mythology.
So y'all know about Cupid, right? I'm sure y'all heard about all of that. The little white baby with the wings and the bow and arrow, that garbage. Okay, read on.
A smiling, mischievous child armed with his bow and arrow, ready to pierce lovers' hearts with romantic love, was joined with Saint Valentine for the purpose of bringing pagan worshipers to the Christian Catholic Church.
Bring who?
Pagan worshipers.
Again, who?
Pagan worshipers.
Pagan worshipers. So again, that's not for our people, like my brother here said.
Do you believe in the Bible?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. My next question is, if Jesus was alive, would he be celebrating Valentine's Day?
Well, he's yet alive.
Well, I said, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I agree with that. You're on the point. If he was walking the earth here, would he be celebrating Valentine's Day?
No, because he was. This funny thing, we was just talking about that today in church. Like, he literally got tempted by the devil after fasting 40 days and 40 nights. And like he said, you can't really tempt God. And he's faultless, he's blameless. So Jesus is not going to fall like a man would. So no, I don't think that he will fall.
So would he want us celebrating Valentine's Day?
I mean, I guess not, but to me, again, with loving kindness have I drawn thee, is so many aspects of love and how love is mentioned in the Bible. I think that it's all based on how you approach the holiday. Because just because this man got killed and got beheaded, and after all, how did you say it? After he died, it was deemed that this was supposed to be a holiday for sex, correct? Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that everybody is going to celebrate it with that in mind. that may be a theme, just like Christmas. Christmas has a theme of edifying, the idea of Saint Nick coming to all these kids' houses and blessing them kids with gifts if they good, and if they bad, he giving them a lump of coal. But the whole point of Christmas, even though it may not be the day that he was born, was to edify the birth of Jesus. So again, I think it has to do with context.
So that was a lot of information, but you ain't answered the question. My question would be, would Christ find it acceptable? Because you kind of say kinda, but kinda no.
Yeah, that's my answer. Kinda. I mean, I don't really know because I'm not Christ.
Okay. So can we read it out the Bible? Where? All right, go to Colossians chapter 2. Go to Colossians 2. Let's see.
The book of Colossians, chapter 2 and verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
Read.
After the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
So we would agree that Valentine's Day is a tradition of man.
Okay.
Right?
I guess.
So here in this scripture here, we read the Bible says to avoid and to beware of all traditions of men that are not after Christ.
Okay.
Like, for example, you said about Christmas. Christmas itself is not after Christ, right? The Bible and Christ tells us to avoid those things. You feel what I'm saying? And then I want to go back to one more statement you said earlier about how it's rooted in paganism. So, is Christ with paganism?
No. Again, I'm not. you misconstrue what I said. Okay. I said that Valentine's Day was rooted in paganism, based on what my prior knowledge before you.
No, you were still right though. You still right. It's still rooted. You're right about it being rooted in paganism. So
your question is.
No, because you stated. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm gonna show you why I said that. Right? You stated that it still could be for love. You know what I'm saying? So Christ, he could be with it. It could not be with it. Right? But if it's rooted in paganism, we know Christ not with it.
Absolutely not.
The book of Colossians, chapter 2 and verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
Through philosophies and vain deceit. Spoil you means to lie to you about philosophies and vain deceit. Read on.
After the tradition of men.
After the traditions of men. Now, we already seen where the origins of Valentine's Day came from, and it was the tradition of man. Read on.
After the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
So we found out that this isn't of Christ. This is actually of the traditions of men. So the Bible told you not to do that, correct?
Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
So is Valentine's Day a philosophy?
That's what the Bible says.
Okay, read.
After the tradition of men.
Is it a man-made tradition?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Do they celebrate Valentine's Day at your church?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Read.
After the rudiment of the world and not after Christ.
So Valentine's Day is not after who?
Christ.
So is you supposed to celebrate it at the church?
No, we don't. They don't celebrate in the church. They go to a hall and celebrate.
Yeah, but are they supposed to celebrate it at all?
No, sir.
So what should you do?
Don't celebrate it.
Okay, all praise to the Most High.
Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you.
Hold on. What was that first word?
Beware.
Beware. So that means be alert.
Lest any man spoil you.
Spoil you means to trick you or to lie to you.
Through philosophy and vain deceit. After the traditions of men.
The traditions of who?
Of men. After the rudiments of the world.
After the rudiments of who?
The world. And not after Christ.
And not after Christ. So this is after the rudiments or the traditions of man and not after Christ. This stuff is not about Christ, so we should not be doing it, correct? And you said you don't celebrate it anyway, right?
Right.
So all praises to the Most High, so you shouldn't do it anyway.
1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 3. For this is the will of God, even your sanctification, that ye should abstain from fornication.
What did it say?
That ye should abstain from fornication.
So knowing that Valentine's Day is a holiday based off fornication, about having sex, you know what I'm saying? Cupid, he shoots you with a penis and make you want to have sexual desires to whoever closest. Should we celebrate it according to the Bible?
No. I feel like you should.
All praise to the Most High. We're back here, IUIC Detroit. We're at a close of the Valentine's Day Cuts from the Street, and we learned a lot today about our people. We learned a lot of our people don't know what the hell Valentine's Day is about. They just doing it because everybody else doing it. You know what I'm saying? Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir. They don't know the origin. Okay, they don't know where Valentine's come from, where the name Valentine's Day comes from. They just doing it because it's a tradition, something that they've seen.
What about you?
And they believing in philosophy and vain deceit after the traditions of men and don't even know it. And then when we show it to them, they still halfway believe it.
Damn. What you say? What you seen out here to pique your interest, man?
You know what? Out of all the interviews we ever did, we only had one married couple that was out here. Other than that, everybody else was just doing whatever they wanted to do, being rebellious when we pulled out the scriptures. So they was just all over the place.
Damn, that was a good point. I didn't even think about that. It was only one married couple out of all the people that celebrated Valentine's Day. What you got to add, man?
It was another couple, or whatever it was. The brother had a baby mama, but he was with his side piece, celebrating Valentine's Day with her, and cheating on his, confusion and madness out here.
So madness and confusion out here, man. But we out here in the streets. We trying to edify our people, bring the light to our people so that they know not to be out here celebrating these pagan holidays. And with that being said, we say, Shalom, Most High, Christ bless.